Okay, I've had a request to show you how to make your own thread palette in the Bernina version 9 software, and indeed version 8 is very similar, and possibly even version 7 this would work. So let's get into it, because there's quite a bit I want to tell you about thread charts on the way through. If you like this video, subscribe so you don't miss any of my new ones, and if you click on the bell notifications, you'll get notified when the new videos come out. Also, like or comment below if you feel so. Okay, so when you open a new design, along the bottom here is a row of thread colors. These are actually the Bernina default color palette. If you hover over them, you will see a black box go around them, and it will tell you that this one, for instance, is the Bernina magenta number 7 color. These are RGB colors. They're not actually thread colors. There is no Bernina thread collection with these colors in them, but they are useful for digitizing. You've got a good range of colors. There's actually 56 here. If I click on the down arrow, it goes up to 45 on my monitor. If I click on the down arrow, I will see the rest of the colors up to color 56, and they're a good starting point to do your digitizing. But some people like to actually use real thread colors. Before I go into that though, I'll just quickly show you, sometimes when you open a design, so I'll just go here. So I've opened this design. I didn't insert it or make a new one from selected or anything. I just opened the design as it was. This is one of the new designs that came with version 9. It's a very attractive design. You'll notice that you'll only get a few colors. That is because the person who digitized this deleted all other unused colors before they saved it. So that option is available to you over here on the right. So if I go back to design 1, if I digitize something, let's just do a closed object, and hopefully it'll be a fill. Yes, enter. So I've got a fill in the default color. I can come over here to the right and I can hide the unused colors, so only that color will show, or I can click on the hide unused colors button again to bring them back, or I can actually discard unused colors. If I click on that one, all those colors other than that blue will disappear, and so I can't bring them back. But what I can do is add colors, and so you just click on the plus to add a color, and it will come in with color number 2, which is the 2 blue default color, and if you click again you'll get number 3. So you can add back colors, and these colors can be then changed to actual thread colors. So that's why I wanted to show you that little part first, so that you can assign actual threads to these colors. Okay, so and of course you can remove colors. So that number 3's got the black box around it, so it's selected. It's the current color. You'll see it here on the left, showing as the current color that you're going to digitize with. And if you want to remove that, you can just click on the minus and it will disappear, and the next adjacent color will become the current color. Okay, once you understand that, I'm just going to open a new design. I'll close that one and I won't save it, and I'll close that one and I'll get myself a new design. So whatever you do to this color palette only affects the design you're working on. So you can see now that I've opened a new design and I've got all my colors back, all the default colors. Alright, now as I said before, they're not thread colors, they're just colors. If you want to assign a particular thread color to any of these colors, you can do so by clicking on the little red cotton reel here. Now, I've already done that, and I've clicked on the little drawing pin in the docker to make it stay. So my threads are also here. My thread palettes are also here. So if I hover over that, the docker will come out. But if you haven't got threads there, click on your red cotton reel, it will come out. And then you'll see a little drawing pin to click on, and that will actually keep it there. It won't disappear again on you until you actually close it. If you close it, you'll have to reopen it, and then or if you click on the little drawing pin, it will go sideways, and it will dock here on the side where the dockers are. Okay, I'm just going to hide the colour film for the moment so that you only see the thread chart. Now, by default, it'll come in here with whatever threads are in the chart you have chosen, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. But I've got a couple of thread charts here. I've got a Hemingworth, and I think I've got another one. I'm not sure. These seem to be all Hemingworth colours, so at the moment I might only have Hemingworth in my thread charts. But you can just show the code and the colour, or you can click on this icon here and it will show you, yeah, they're all Hemingworth, the actual brand and the name of the colour as well as the code, if you need all that information to make it easier to find the exact thread you want to use. So if you want to assign one of those threads to your palette down here, so I've got a pale lilac here, or it's actually called pastel blue, and this is one thing, I would have thought that was a pale lilac, but it's called pastel blue. If I click on it, you'll notice that the threads here jump to the nearest colour to that, so that you can assign that thread. The colours aren't all that accurate as far as if you held your thread reel up against your monitor, you may or may not have a really accurate colour of the thread here in the thread chart. This is because there are a lot of factors which determine how colours show up on your screen. One of them is your monitor and the quality of your monitor, and whether or not it's been calibrated for colour, and that's quite a complex and expensive process to do it properly, so probably a track you don't want to go down. There is another way to make this happen better, but also the graphics card you've got will affect it, and even the light shining on your monitor and the angle of your monitor will all affect how these colours show up. So don't panic too much about that just yet, but I'm just going to show you how you can assign this colour, this purple iris, which is fairly similar to that, or I could go down here and choose another one if I'm not happy with that one. So let's go down here. Let's pick this freesia. That looks even closer. It's a little bit more pink, but it's even closer. So if I select that freesia, and then I need to double click on it. So double left click, and this colour down here, now if I hover over it down here, this colour number 16 is now showing as the Freesia Hemingworth Poly Select, and that means that that's now a thread colour. And you can do that to assign colours, and it doesn't even matter if it's not a colour that matches. You can assign colours to any of these threads down here, and that will help you have colours that are more realistic to your threads rather than just using the default Bernina palette. It's particularly handy if you're doing designs for someone else who's requested particular colours in their design and they need to see a visual of what it's going to look like. And also if you are doing designs that have shading in them, it's better if you can have more realistic colours so that you can see whether your shading's effective or not. Of course, nothing replaces a trial stitch out. Alright, so how did I get this thread palette here, and how can I make my own? Indeed, there's a couple of ways to do that. So I'm going to go back to just show the code and the colour. So I'll click on this icon again, show thread details, and that will remove those details. To the left of that in the Docker, you've got a select thread charts. So if I left click on that, it will open the select thread charts, and here I can choose which thread charts I want to be showing up here. So if you buy a particular brand of thread all the time, you can choose that from this list if it is on the list, and it is an extensive list. So Floriani is a very popular brand of thread, so you might want the Floriani polyester threads, so you select that and you click your arrow that points towards the selected thread charts and it will hop over. You can have more than one thread chart here, so if you've got two brands of thread that you often use, you could have them both in there. So now when I hover over here, I'll just go OK for a minute, and when I hover over here, you'll see that I've got some Floriani polys as well as the Hemingworth. So as I scroll down, some are Hemingworth threads and some are Floriani's, and they've blended them in colour blocks so that you can get the nearest colour out of either of those brands, so all your lilacs will be close together. So if I pick this turquoise here, then all the turquoises are going to come up over here, and I can pick my closest turquoise that I want to use in the brand of thread I use. Now if you find the colours here aren't showing up really accurately, you can click on Manage Your Threads. So here I've got the thread chart for Floriani Poly is showing up because it's the last one I selected, but I can choose the Hemingworth one from there if I want to and change it to that. You can only manage one thread chart at a time, so but it will take effect in this area here. So I'll just click off and leave it on the Floriani. So say the Oriental Blue for Floriani here, I'm not happy with the colour that's showing up on my screen. It doesn't really look like the actual thread I've got if I hold it up next to the screen. So you can actually edit that colour, and you can come here to the colour and mix it. You've got some standard colours there, but you can click on more colours, and you can even go to custom colours, and you can actually move this. I'm going to cancel this, so I'm not going to do it, but you can actually move this around till the colour here shows up accurately next to your reel of thread. So you can get much more accurate colours showing on your screen for digitizing. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of that because I don't want to change the thread chart at this point in time. And you might not want to change your actual thread charts that come with the software. You might want to create your own and then change them in your own thread chart. So let's have a look at creating your own thread chart. I'll just cancel that as well. So now we want to create our own thread chart to put our own threads in. So we click on the Create button here, and we're going to give that chart a name. So you might want to call that My Threads, so that you only have your threads in there. Now you need to base it on a thread chart. So if you've got majority of let's say Metla Polysheen is what you use most of the time, so you can base it on the Metla Polysheen. Just Metla Polysheen threads, and go OK. So now the Metla Polysheen thread chart is here, but it's called My Threads. So you're not actually editing the Metla Polysheen chart. You've created a new one called My Threads, which you're editing. So again, then you can take out threads you haven't got. So if you haven't got the buttercream colour in your stash, you could select it and remove it. You probably want to leave it there though, in case you think, well, I really want that colour, so I'll go and buy it. So that's, you need to think this through, how it's going to work best for you. You can edit it, as I said before, by mixing the colour exactly as you want. It's going to leave, unless you change these options here, it's going to leave the Metla Polysheen brand and the Metla Polysheen name and number as it is in the Metla Polysheen, which is handy. And I'll cancel out of that. Now you might want to copy a thread from another thread chart into your My Threads, so that you've got another brand of thread in your stash that isn't the Metla Polysheen. It's maybe, let's say, a Floriani. You can add that in here. So all you need to do then is click on the copy, and here your dialog copy thread chart will open, and you need to search for the chart you want. So as I said, Floriani, so that's up here. Floriani polyester, and then you can search for the colour that you've got. So you can search by code here, the name, or even the chart. So but you probably have the code of the thread, so if you select code here, you can type in the code here. I'm just going to pick one at random, so I'm going to pick Fandango. So once you've found your colour, you select it and go OK. Now that colour will appear right at the end of all the Metlopoly ones, because it's added on to the end. I'm not sure how that pans out with the thread chart later on, but it's in there at least. Okay, so that's if you've got threads, and again you can then edit that and get the colour exactly right, and rename it or whatever you want to do. Okay, so I need to select it first and then edit it, and so it starts with that colour. You can remix the colour if you so desire. So I'll cancel out of that. Now what happens if you've got a thread that the brand is not listed in the software? Well, you can then just add a new colour. So I'll click on the add button here, and you can mix your colour here again with the same colour options, custom colour options. And so let's mix a purple, a pinky purple, or even a salmony pink. I don't know. I'll just pick one at random. Let's leave and go back to the pinky purples, or this blue purple. That'll do. Find your colour. Now you can make it darker or lighter here. So even if it was if you've got the colour right, you can change the shade here to make it slightly darker or lighter with this up and down slider. When you've got that colour correct, you go OK. And then you can give it a code if you so desire. So if there is a code on the reel, you can use that. If there's no code, you can make one up, give it a name, and you can even say what brand it is here in the chart, and that way all that information will show up in your thread chart. And so I'll call it 0123. I'll call it Purple Haze, and I'll call it XYZ for the thread brand. Okay, so I'll click that OK. Now that has also landed right at the end of the thread chart here. Okay, so we've copied. As I said, we can remove. So if you're never going to, if a colour's discontinued or you're never going to buy it again, you can remove it. We've edited, we've copied. You can clear them all and start again. So once you've done all that, your My Threads chart is there, and you can just close that dialog. Then you can come here to your select thread charts, and you should be able to find the My Threads. Might need to close it and reopen it. No, there it is. My Threads. Okay, so you can move your My Threads over to the selected thread charts, and I'm going to actually put the Floriani and the Hemingworth back over here for the moment, just so that we've only got My Threads in there. So we'll select the Floriani and take it back, and we'll select the Hemingworth and take it back over to this side. So now in this selected thread chart here, I should only have My Threads once I go OK. So OK. So now if I hover above these, they're all Metlopoly sheen. So to get except there should be the other odd two. Let's just go back and find the code for one of those. I think I called it 123, but we'll just have a look. We'll manage and My Threads. Let's go right down to the bottom. Let's look for Purple Haze in this thread chart here now. So we'll close and go OK. So I can type in here Purple Haze. And there it is, because I remember now it was the 0, 1, 2, 3. And so, yeah, both these colours are right down the bottom. So 0, 1, 2, 3, it is in with some purples though. So if I want to now assign that to one of my colours in my palette down here, I can choose. So let's go back to that 16. And I'm now going to assign that purple haze to it. So I'll select it and then double left click on it. So when I come down here, my purple haze will be available. So I can then digitize with that. So I can get a closed object, select my purple haze. And because I've mixed the color for my own screen, it will be fairly accurate to the color in the reel of thread. Now, just one other thing that I wanted to point out is that when you've assigned all your colors, so let's make a couple more objects. And let's give that one a color as well. So I will, should have gone to, oh, I've got to take out that purple out of this, that's locked this, so it can't jump to the oranges because I've got something in the search bar. So I'll just delete that by backspacing, and now it's jumped to the oranges. So I'm going to call this one Spanish Gold. I'm going to assign that to the gold, and I'm going to digitize a closed object with that. So I've still got my closed object tool, so enter, and let's just do one that we don't assign a color to. So I'm going to left click on the Bernina red color there, and I'm not going to assign a thread to it, and I'll digitize a closed object, enter. All right, so now when I've done that, and you're seeing those lines because I've got snap to grid on, let's go to our print preview. So up here in our top menu bar here, we've got the print preview icon. When we go to that, you can see here now that in the design worksheet, it's actually got the threads that I have assigned. So purple haze XYZ is there. Spanish gold, I'll just zoom in a little bit. Spanish gold Metla Polysheen is there, and because I didn't assign a thread to the red, it's just got the Bernina red. So if you're doing some work and you want to be able to find your particular brand of thread, it's really handy also to assign your thread colors to your colors when you're digitizing, so that when you print out this, you can just go and get the thread you need for that job. So I hope that's been helpful, and you know, it's up to you how much work you want to put into making that thread chart. It does take a bit of time, but as I said, it does have some advantages when you're digitizing. Thank you.